was obviously spending money doing all this different to try to pop off. And then when the nerd rap happened, I knew it was gonna go viral because one of the girls I rapped to posted it on Facebook and it went viral. Dropped it. First week it was out, I made $60,000.
Dang.
Wow.
Yo, guys. Yo, bro.
It is what it is. That's the name of the podcast.
It is what it is.
Just letting you know. So.
Yo, guys, welcome back to the podcast. This is a very special one. We got a special guest on. He's a rapper, an artist. He's gotten hundreds of millions of streams on his songs. He's also an entrepreneur. He's got some businesses, and he's also a father and a husband.
Yeah.
We got the man, the myth, the legend, Futuristic.
Let's go, man.
Know the vibes. Yes, sir. What's going down?
So, all right, so you make music, and you've been making music for a while.
25 years.
And like
just before you was born.
And how old are you now?
30.
So you've been making it since you were
Since I was
bud.
5. Yeah, since I was
Since
5.
you were
I've been
5?
making music. Yes, sir.
No way, really?
For sure.
You were in the studio at 5 going
In the
like
studio at 5.
Yeah.
I have songs
crazy.
recorded from when I was 6 years old.
Is it like...
Yeah, my voice is mad high. For sure.
No way.
Yeah.
Did you know at 5 you were like, this is what I want to do the rest of my life?
It was between that and basketball, which I feel like is every rapper's story.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was definitely like those sports and music was always my passions. Music obviously always felt more obtainable, where like it was kind of a pipe dream to get to the NBA. I guess both kind of are, but yeah, I always knew that I was gonna do this.
Was there a point where you were like you wanted to do it, but then was there a point where it flipped and you're like, yo, I can actually make it and make money and make a living off this?
I mean, yes and no. Like I felt the crazy thing people don't realize is like I was really selling CDs when I was a kid. Like I don't want to say 5. Yeah, like 3rd grade, so like 7.
No way.
Whoa.
So when
Yeah,
other kids were like selling Skittles or like
Yeah, I was selling my
lollipops.
CDs. I was selling my
Dude.
CDs. I've talked about it on another podcast. Like I would walk up and down the line at school, and like if cats wasn't getting the free lunch, if they was buying the lunch at school, I'd be
Because they
like,
had the money.
yeah, I'm like, you got money in your pocket. You're for sure getting like this. You're getting my CD
You're getting
instead.
that nice
like,
lunch.
yeah, here.
And what was the response from kids like your age?
They all bought it.
And did they listen to it and they were like, yo, that's fire.
For sure. Everybody at every school I went to was like, he's gonna be famous.
Oh, so you were
Yeah.
like a legend from a young age. You knew you were going to be.
Yeah.
Can you take us on that journey of like there and then how you got to kind of where you are? Probably
I mean,
a long journey, but
Yeah, it's such a journey, but I'll give a brief synopsis. You know, starting off, my dad was in mad bands. He's a DJ, drummer, bass player. My other brother rapped. My other brother plays guitar. All my family is kind of musically inclined. So at the young age, I was just making music. And then my dad also is a tightwad, does not like to spend his own money. So like he always was just teaching me the value of $1. So like I did mad business shit with him, where it was like mowing lawns or helping him around the
Selling
crib
CDs.
or whatever. And then it just kind of turned into like, okay, music can be a business where I can make money to live my life. So just started doing that. And this is also the time where like Romeo and Bow Wow are popping. So like kids that are rappers are famous. So I'm like, oh, I'm finna be the next one of them. So started off, I did talent shows, showcases, things like that. So I'm performing in front of huge crowds in 2nd grade, you know, in 3rd
Like
grade.
actually.
Yeah,
That's
yeah.
crazy.
And so then that turned into like just doing that consistently as the years went on, selling mixtapes at school, amongst other things. And then when I got out of high school is when it really got super, super serious, where like I was grown enough to move around myself and do whatever I wanted and like really pursue it. So yeah, just a whole lifetime of being like, you know, building the skill, and then after high school, really formulating what it was going to look like after that.
Was there one moment or like one song that kind of like popped off?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on how you look at it. Like for me, when I was living off of music 10 years ago. So in 2012, I started like making money off music to where I could support my life.
so when you were like 20.
Yeah,
Okay.
exactly. And then when I really started like actually making good money off music, like with shit went like crazy. The first time was I Guess I'll Smoke, which was in 2014.
Dude, wait, funny story about that song. I was playing it last night
Fire.
with someone.
Okay, with somebody.
With someone. What does that even mean, guys? Guys, what do you think that means?
Who is it?
I was showing,
He's with a-
I was
What did
showing
the
it-
YouTubers do? Comment below who you thought it was last night that he was
Facts.
listening to I Guess I'll Smoke with.
I was trying to put him on. I was putting her on. I was like, yo, you
it's
know
a
this
her?
guy?
Oh, it's a
I knew it was a
her.
girl. I
My
knew
boy
it
was
a girl.
out on the town.
He
huh?
was on the Tinder.
Wow.
Oh,
Yep,
yo.
yep. He knows you.
No, it was actually Bumble.
Dang. Okay.
Okay.
All right, so
That
then-
one's more like
Did she like this? Did she like it? The song?
Yeah, she liked it. She liked it.
she's a legend. Marry her.
Yeah.
But
Okay.
then,
So last night you were listening to it before you got buns.
no, that's
Dude,
it.
look
That's
how
it.
dude when he starts talking about girls,
After? It was
he gets
after you got buns?
No, there was
Little post game?
there's no buns.
Oh, okay.
wow, it got
It's a
quiet.
thing. It's a thing. He never really tells anybody about his girls. like,
His love
love life.
That's
you know.
dope. Keep it that way.
Yeah, I don't kiss and tell.
Yeah, that's a big fact.
Yeah.
Okay.
So
So, you
then-
listen to I Guess I'll Smoke.
Oh, that was the end of that story.
Oh, that was it.
That was it?
Well, I just had to
That was
say it because
it?
I was.
Oh, last night he listened to it. It's a funny story. so
crazy.
fucking funny, bro.
Oh, I forgot to laugh because it was so funny, you know?
Facts.
All right,
Dude, that was crazy.
Yeah, that's a wild story.
So
Right,
about that song, that was the song that popped it off.
That was the song that like had me really like pocketing a good amount of money off music to where I could make the trip and move to LA. So off that song and other things I was doing, I was able to move to LA. And then shit really got crazy when I did the nerd rap. And like to put in perspective, I moved to LA with like 20 grand in my pocket and was obviously spending money doing all this different shit to try to pop off. And then when the nerd rap happened,
Which was the one
like the
Big
prank
Dogs.
with Big Dogs.
yeah, with Big Dogs, the prank with Big Dogs, we did nerd raps in Compton.
if you guys don't know what that is, a lot of you guys have probably seen it.
Yeah.
He's rapping out in
Yeah, I'm like,
Compton.
hey, you pals, you mind if I rap for you real quick? And we filmed it in like 20 minutes. And I knew it was gonna go viral because one of the girls I rapped to posted it on Facebook and it went viral before I had the chance to post
dang.
it.
Oh,
dang.
And I hit Facebook like, take this shit down. The song's not out yet. And they took it down. But it had like 100,000 likes on this girl's page.
Well,
and
she was just
she
filming
was
you
just
like with
filming
her
it,
phone.
shaking, yeah,
She's like,
whatever.
Look at
So
this
I'm,
nerd filming me.
huh?
I mean, rapping to me.
Yeah, literally. She's just like, look at this guy rapping to me. So I got that taken down. Anyways, dropped it. First week it was out, I made $60,000
Dang.
That one song.
off of like
Off
that,
the music video or off the
off of just so I didn't get it. So I had a deal with my videographer where he shot all my videos for free. So he shot like 100 videos for me for free, but he was collecting the YouTube monetization. So that was kind of our deal. Back in the beginning, that's how I got so much content for nothing. And then Big Dawes was collecting the money off his YouTube off the prank. So only thing I was collecting off of was the streams and the sales. Back then it
like
was
Spotify?
Yeah, Spotify. Back then Spotify wasn't even the thing. It was iTunes. Motherfuckers
iTunes, 60,000 off iTunes in one
they was,
week.
Yeah, so they was
Damn.
really going and buying the song, but it wasn't just the song. They fell in love with everything I had. So like all my songs were popping off. So I Guess I'll Smoke. Like if you went to the iTunes charts that week, I had 3 songs in the top 10.
Your catalog.
All my catalog
Which is
was-
something that I
was
want to talk
popping
about.
off, yeah.
A lot of people, they want like the instant fame, they want like the instant pop. But if your first video goes off,
You're fucked.
because just as quick as you rise is just as quick as you can fall.
Facts.
But like you probably looking back on that, we're so glad you had such a catalog because people saw it and it was like that song was like a billboard
Yeah.
for your other songs. It wasn't even that song. It was literally like, yo, this is futuristic.
It was. I mean, think about it. Even now, like, what do? We when a series comes out, we binge watch it, right? Like, new Ozark comes out, you might stay in the crib.
Euphoria.
You know, yeah, you might stay in the crib 2-3 days and watch all of it. So when somebody blows up, you want to binge watch. You want to go back and you want to see their catalog. You want to go back and see their music and see their progression and feel like you discovered something new. So that's what happened when I blew up. It was like, oh, dope. Who is this guy? Let me find him. Oh, he's only got 17,000 followers. Crazy. Now you're telling all your friends and you discovered this new thing. And so that's what really was dope. Where if you blow up on your first song, there's nothing to go back and binge watch. There's nothing to, like, I would say I probably would have made like 20 grand if that was my only song out.
Like
And then you might-
Instead of the 60.
You're almost glad that it wasn't your first because I feel like,
Yeah.
like it's almost like the same thing with YouTube because our first video didn't pop off, but then one like later down the line popped off. But then,
then everything else
all
took
of
off.
our old videos they took off. They started getting views. I feel like people nowadays they want it so quick, like their first thing, and then if they don't get it, they'll be discouraged.
Which is actually the wrong way to go about it. Yeah,
Yeah.
you want to have that traction and you want to build the organic fan base. You
Yeah.
want to let people discover you and then you want to pop off so they do go back and then now all your shit's cracking.
And it gives you more of an appreciation too. Like if you get it so
Facts.
quick, if it's so easy, it's like, all right, everyone.
Well, and then
you
you're
know?
going to chase that high for the rest of your life and you might not ever get it again.
yeah, you
Yeah,
don't
yeah.
realize
These people
how
that
it's-
go viral.
That's why I think TikTok is, if you don't, like TikTok gives everyone a free viral video. I feel
Yeah.
like every single person I know has a video with like a couple 100,000 or 1 million views.
Right.
But they give you that and you've never got 1 million views in your life. You are like on dopamine
You're
high.
a fiend.
You're
You're a
like
crackhead.
The highest you've ever been.
Yeah,
And then
you're a
you're like-
crackhead for sure.
You
at that
think you're
point.
like, oh, this is it, and then your next video you post and you get like
Nothing.
2
I think they
views.
do it though to hook you on because, dude, if someone posts a viral video and then it goes
they
viral,
do.
there's so much dopamine, and then that person, they're just gonna want to stay on the app, make more videos, make more content for
It's
TikTok.
the exact same reason when you sign up for sports betting apps, they give you like $1,000 to gamble with. So you're like, oh, if you win off that or you get to spend it, you're gonna just stay on the app. There's
It
a
hooks
reason
you
for all
on
that.
there.
It hooks you.
All businesses give you that incentive at first. you know?
Exactly. Or the free 30-day trial.
Yeah.
Oh,
the
cool.
the good ones make it seem like they're not doing it.
Yeah, yeah.
They get you
Facts.
hooked without you feeling like you're hooked.
Facts. Yeah. So definitely better to, and same thing with Russ. Like Russ is the perfect example of somebody that had 4 or 5 albums out, and then when he started blowing up, it's like everything caught. So
Yeah, bro. I was like on him early, and I actually went to 2 of his concerts, like when he was small.
fire.
I was like, yo, this guy's dope. I don't really listen to him much anymore.
Okay.
But back in the days, it was like high school, like freshman year. But he was dope, bro. And I put him on, like all my friends, I put him on. I'm like, yo, check this guy out, check this guy out, check this guy
Yeah.
out.
Oh yeah.
It's
That's
lit.
what's up.
Now he's like the lead for like independent artists.
Facts.
He's like the
Facts.
guy.
Yeah. He's super dope. Super dope.
So what happened after you popped off? Did like things change, or what kind of happened next?
Yeah, it was wild because I was actually already on tour when it happened. So like I'll never forget the day I was in my hotel room and somebody told me like, don't post your YouTube link to Facebook, because that's what everybody used to do. It used to just be post a picture of the music video with the YouTube link so people click on that. And then somebody was like, yo, Facebook's trying to push videos. Don't post the YouTube link in your caption.
Post
Ju-
like the actual video.
Just upload the
Because
video.
YouTube,
Yeah.
Facebook won't promote it if you're just going to YouTube.
Exactly.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
upload the video. And I actually, Dawes didn't even have a Facebook page, wasn't even really using his Facebook. And I was like, yo, this is what you got to do. Upload it to Facebook. So I uploaded it to my Facebook, and literally from the drive from the hotel to the venue, which was like 8 minutes, I got like 100,000 likes on Facebook.
Dang,
And
100,000 likes.
wow.
So that's
Yeah.
probably a couple million views.
Yeah, it was going crazy. So I'm like, yo, what the fuck is happening? And so like we're doing sound check, we're doing all this stuff. By the end of the day, it's at like 1.3 million likes.
Sheesh.
And then next morning I wake up and like Lil Wayne posted, The Game posted, Kevin Hart
Dang.
posted, all these people posted, World Star posted, and I'm like, oh, we're fucking out of here. Then it's like my songs are climbing up the charts. And so I'm just like, oh, it's going crazy. Then ticket sales are going up. So it was an immediate response to that song being out that everything went nuts. So my brain is just like, okay, cool, let's do another one. Let's do another
You're
one.
just like-
let's do this, let's do that. And I actually was kind of pissed I was on tour because it was harder to do what I wanted to do. Like I couldn't record, I couldn't do what I wanted to do.
You just
So-
wanted to go harder and like
yeah,
keep-
but
ride
what
the
was
wave.
dope was the shows went from like 50 people at a show to like 250, and then from 250 to 500.
Oh,
And
literally as you were on tour.
as I was on tour.
Because it happened.
Damn.
It happened the second day of tour.
So first one was small. Then
Well,
second
what was
one
dope,
big.
I was actually on tour. The first 3 shows was with this group called Air and this dude named Shwazy. So I was on tour with them for the first 3 shows. So I posted it while I was on tour with them, and their shows were big. They were doing like 1,500 people. But then my tour started the day after that one got over, and those tickets were at 50. And then when that shit happened, so I didn't do a show for less than 250 people on my tour. And so, yeah, came up like crazy, and then got home, finished the album, dropped another Nerd Rap to Too Easy, which went equally viral, and just, yeah,
Rode the wave, never looked back.
rode the wave.
And that was what, 10 years ago?
Nah, 7?
Oh, 7 years ago.
7 years
20
ago. 2015.
You're 23 when that happened?
Yeah.
So you were doing it for 18 years before
yeah.
the moment.
Yeah, but I would say professionally for 3.
Before that, yeah.
Yeah, professionally for 3 before that.
But that was like the catalyst. And
that
now
was
you're
the
just,
thing that allows this house and everything else that I do was that moment in time that was like, cool,
Mm-hmm.
the world has now seen you. This is your platform. Do what you want with it.
So you grew up in Arizona, or no?
I moved to Arizona when I was 15. So I
Okay.
went to my last 3 years of high school here. And then, when I graduated, I stayed here for a couple more years. Then I moved to LA right before all that happened.
I want to know what do you think about LA as a whole? Like,
It's the best, worst place in the world.
right?
Yeah,
that's what
it's
I
a good
think.
way to
It's
put it, I
really
feel like.
shitty and really dope all at the same time. Like, if you can find the right people to link with and work with, like, there are
Yeah.
really dope people in LA, but there's also a ton of scumbags and a ton of weirdos, you know?
Yeah.
Like, everybody there is chasing their dream, and they don't care who they have to step on to get there. They don't know proper etiquette. They're not, like, they don't move
Like they're
how
focused on
humans should
themselves.
move.
Yeah.
Initially, though, they'll be like there's dope people, but initially, like everyone's like the dopest, nicest person.
Right.
Because they're all, like you said, they're all trying to like get the same thing. That's why everyone's out there is to
Right.
achieve their dreams. So
Everybody's
they'll
there
do
to do
whatever
that.
it takes to get to the next level. But is that why you kind of moved out, or you just were maturing?
Yeah, that was part of it. It was like I moved there with, like I said, the hopes and dreams of making it, and then shit popped off right away. And yeah, bro, like I spent a lot of time like with Logan Paul and all those cats when they all lived on Vine, you know. So like when I was blowing up, they had just came off Vine and were just trying to get into the YouTube space or just got into the YouTube space. So like I filmed mad pranks with them. Logan actually asked me to be on the diss track about his brother that I didn't end up getting on because I was busy that day.
Dang.
Yeah, big mistake.
You wish you would have been on?
Yeah, but like, so we were all filming stuff, and no shade to any of those guys, but like even in that community, you saw it where it was like people would move into Vine in hopes of working with them, and they would kind of like shade out somebody, and then that person would get bigger, and then it's like, oh, now we're best friends. And it's like,
Yeah.
no, you didn't like them a week ago.
Yeah.
Like like they had to be in the same relative
Yeah.
amount of clout.
Exactly.
Like, okay, they have 4 mil. I have 3 mil. That's close enough. But if you have like 3 mil, you have like 200,000. Nah.
Yeah,
it's like,
exactly. So it was just kind of like seeing shit like that, and then seeing like people introduce you as like, or introduce themselves like, hi, I'm like, not hi, my name is this. It's like, hi, I have this many followers, or hi, this is my Instagram, or hi, I'm related to this person, or hi, I work for this company. And it's just like, cool, but like, how are you as a human being? You know? So yeah, a lot of that
that's what
shit.
we talk about all the time is like,
It's really weird. And so after living there for 2.5, 3 years, I was just like, damn, I feel like I don't really have one friend here, like a real
Like a
friend.
real, genuine friend that like
Yeah.
that
if
only
you
happened,
needed them,
Yeah,
that they would
Like, who
come
won-
through.
that they would be there.
like just for you as a person, like not for like if everything went away, who'd be like, yo,
Yeah,
Shaq.
yeah. Everybody, it was very, contingent on the success and contingent on what I could do for them. And so, and then on top of that, I was touring like 200 days out the year and paying like $3,000 a month for an apartment that I was never at. So I'm just like, I want to own shit. I want to build businesses. I want to own property. So this is not the place to do it.
Yeah.
So that at that point, I moved back here, bought these 2 houses next to each other, and have continued to buy property and start businesses in Arizona, which was always the plan. It was never my plan to stay in LA permanently.
So were you in like a go, like all about the action mode? And would you
sure.
say now, like you grind and you work
Yeah.
really hard, but you're more of like a
balance.
balanced, calculated?
For sure.
Because I'm getting to that point, even though I'm 22.
Yeah.
We've been doing it since we were like super young, like a long time. And I'm just realizing like we've done a couple tours, we've been on the road, we've been across the country like multiple times, just the constant like this. And for the longest time we would do everything like film, edit,
Like
be
it was
the
all life
characters.
was like no going out, just focus on, and then exactly.
There was
what
like
you're
for
saying.
years I wouldn't talk to girls. It was just grind. And I'm
So you're nothing like this guy. He talks to girls every day.
yeah. Well, I had a period in my life where I went through it and kind of
Yeah, yeah.
got it out of my system.
No, for sure.
Because it's like I built it up so much
Yeah.
that I went like
Like it's still in there, just tucked away.
But right now, like I have a girl, and like I love
Fire.
her, and I just wanna
Whoa.
like
Shout
talk
out to your girl.
I shout her out every pod. So
Okay, to
yeah.
say I love you on camera is like ill, super ill.
yeah,
Different.
I do. I know I do.
I was scared to do shit like that when
But-
I was your age.
I was listening to one of your songs, and forgive me, but I don't know the name of it, but it was you were talking about
I
like
think it's life.
Life?
The one that I was playing earlier today.
yeah. Oh, it was life. It was like I got a few M's in the bank, couple million, but maybe I'd rather have a wife and a few children or something like
yeah,
that.
yeah, yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
that was
that's-
off. That was off. I'm sorry.
Yeah,
but-
no, that's close.
It's something I
it's
think
close,
about
close.
because
Yeah.
we've grinded, we've like made a lot, and then there's times where I'm so conflicted of, all right, yeah, keep doing this, keep pushing this because this is who I am. This is who I think I am.
Yeah.
But I was listening to something the other day where it's like, I only think that I'm this YouTuber, that I'm this person because that's what everyone has told me. That's what everyone has said.
Yeah.
But I can be anything that I want.
Facts.
And I want to just like pick your brain about
'Cause I feel like you've gone through. There's like stages. You
There's
go-
hella stages.
how did
The
you
beginning-
reinvent the reinventation?
Yeah,
of it?
in the beginning you're kind of grinding hella hard and then
Yeah.
not focused on anything, and then we're like, I feel like I'm in the middle phase and he's in the phase almost after me or like going into it,
For
and
sure.
then you're
Well, I
at
love
that
it though.
phase.
I
Yeah.
love like the videos and I love like the podcast. Like everything's
You
dope.
always
I love
will.
it. But I want like a balance. Like how you have this house. This house is your house.
Like
You
your
come-
work and life is like separated.
Right.
Yeah.
So for me, I think this is the thing, right? Like, you want to build a dope life for yourself. The reason why you started this shit is A, because it looked fun, I'm imagining, and B, because you wanted fame and you wanted money, right? A little bit. Is that
Well,
why you
honestly, when we were so young, we didn't even comprehend. We were just having fun, and it happened.
We were
And it
like,
just happened.
maybe
Okay.
we'd make enough money where maybe we wouldn't have to work like a normal job and it help pay for college or
Right,
something like that.
right.
And then it blew up and better than expected.
And then
So-
you start making business moves, and you're like, you start being smart.
And you get addicted to it. All of it is a high. Everything that you do is a high in this industry, right? So with me, it was like I had this dream since I was 5 years old. And so I never stopped. Like, my head was down. Like, I'm working. Like, yes, sure, I had a girlfriend. Sure, I had this. Sure, I had that. Sure, whatever phases you go through. But what changed for me was when I realized, like, I had never been on a vacation in my life. Like, I never went on a vacation my entire life. As a kid, as an adult, anything. I'm doing tours and I'm doing that. So as I'm traveling, I'm working. But I never, like, took time to just enjoy life. So when things changed for me was when I realized, like, yo, I'm doing all this shit and I've never taken a step back to just enjoy life. It was always, how do I get bigger? How do I make this better? How can I be better than this person or bigger than this person? Or how can I have what this person has or whatever?
Yeah.
And then when I realized, like, yo, I don't need none of that shit. The reason I started this was so I could support one day a family, support myself, not work at Ross, and do what the fuck I want to do whenever I want. So you get in this grind of doing this all the time, and are you really doing what you want to do whenever you want to do it? You feel like you are, but you're really not. You're a slave
You're like
to the
tied,
views.
You're tied to it.
Yeah, you're a slave to the views. You're a slave to your job. This is now a job that's I don't want to say it's way worse than a 9-to-5, but it's way more stress. It's way more expenses. It's way more everything than working at Ross ever was. So I had to take a step back and be like, I'm actually working like 18 hours a day. I'm a slave to my job, which is a job that I always wanted. But now I have to realize how to enjoy my regular life. And I have to build those things that I wanted to build with owning a home, starting a family, being there for my friends, and fucking going bowling on a Wednesday if I want to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So, like,
Yeah.
I never did any of that shit. If anybody asked me to do anything, like you said, I just kept my head down and worked on music, and, like, that was it. And also, I was a slave to every opportunity. If somebody called me and was like, yo, I got a studio session at 2 a.m, I'd wake my ass up and go to the studio session. Now, if you call me at 2 a.m, I'm not picking up. There's no way. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
So,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
it's just one of those things where, like, now I have this balance of, like, I still work very hard, but, like, I enjoy my life and the fruits of my labor. Like, I didn't build this for nothing. And
Yeah.
honestly, like, my goal isn't to make or be super, super famous. You know, I don't want to be super famous, bro. Like,
You want to be able to.
Like, you don't want to be able to not be able to go bowling on a Wednesday night.
exactly.
Like,
I don't
Justin
want to
Bieber
not be
can't-
able to go bowling on a Wednesday. I don't want to go to the grocery store. Like, I get stopped every day when I go out, but it's like, it's fine. But I don't want to be Drake to where, like, if I want to go bowling, I have to rent out the bowling alley and throw a
Have
party, and, like,
security
everything is under a microscope. And
Yeah.
if you step out with one of your friends, it's a girl, TMZ is saying you're cheating on your, like, whatever, wherever
Yeah.
your imagination takes you, right?
Yeah.
I'm not with all that. So for me, it was just like, cool, I built this. I'm going to keep building things, but I'm going to enjoy my life.
Because that's why you even started in the
That's
first
why
place.
we started.
But so many people, and I'm just realizing so many people get stuck in it they're just addicted to it. And it's like, oh, if I stop, then everything I've ever done is not worth it, or everything
Right.
I ever have worked for.
Well, then
doesn't
naturally,
mean-
we're all going to fall off. Y'all are
Yeah.
going to fall off one day. Sucks
Yeah.
to say it, but you're 19, you're 22.
Yeah.
When you're 35, you're not going to be able to do the same shit you're doing right now. It's not
Yeah.
going to make sense. So
And like, what
you're
you
going to
want
have to
change in too.
yeah, you're going to have to progress and change and do something different. So, like, if you're addicted to the high that this is giving you, you're not going to be able to keep getting this high. You have to do something different. And you have to change. And you have to grow as a human being, which you're naturally going to do.
Yeah.
So your work and your businesses have to reflect that growth.
That's kind of what we did with this podcast. Like, we wanted something new, and I think it's just dope to hear everyone's stories. So that's kind of what
Right.
this podcast is.
Hell yeah.
And it is what it is, because
It is what it is.
at the end of the day, I'm getting to the point where it's like, all you can do is focus on making the best stuff that you can make, and how it does. You have really no control after you. That doesn't mean you can't promote it. You can't do the right things. You
But
can't have
if you
the
do
best-
all the right things and it still flops, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
It is what it is.
But if it pops too, it is what it is.
It is what it is.
Like,
Let's get
you
this
know,
money.
this podcast is gonna blow up because you're just a dope guy.
There we go.
But yeah, man.
Also, something I heard you talking about on a podcast. You kind of said you felt like you kind of accomplished a lot. Maybe I don't know, but basically it led into you going to something else, which was Indie Amplify, right?
Yeah.
So that's something because Ricky was talking to me and he's like, dude, I feel like I've done everything. I feel like I just feel like I've done so much and I've completed everything that I wanted to complete. And
Wild, right? It's a weird feeling.
It's so
Like,
weird, bro,
you
because
get to your
I
goals.
understand that I'm young, but I feel like when I was talking to him about it, it was I've had the life experience of like a 60-year-old and I'm 22.
Yeah.
That's why
I'm
I feel like he
19.
could give you some advice on that because he's kind of. I feel like you're a big business guy. You're big in music, but you're really big into business as well.
Yeah, I think that part of the reason why I'm as successful as I am as a musician is because of my business. Like, there was never a move that was made that wasn't like calculated. So, yeah, that's big. But going to what you're talking about, forget what movie it's on, but there was something where a dude was like, he's like, it's crazy that everything I'm gonna feel from here on out is only lesser versions of what I've already felt.
Damn.
And like that shit hit me super hard because I'm like, there's nothing else that I ever wanted. Like, I got every high that I ever wanted. I did everything that I ever wanted to do. And now when it happens again, like even tomorrow, performing at the Suns, like performing for the Suns. I love basketball. I love music. That's the epitome of like the two things I loved most in life as a kid. And if you told me like, you're going to announce the Suns starting lineup and you're going to perform at halftime, I would have been like, what? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Or like, I always wanted a house with white pillars, like, and I got one. So now it's like when I buy a new house, it feels like whatever. When I do a concert, it feels like whatever. When I make a business move, or like the first time I made $1,000, I was like, this is crazy. Now like I'll make $50,000 and feel like, cool, what's next?
It is what it is.
That's kind of.
It is what it is. So it's kind of a wild thing, but I think that like I had my life so planned out of what I wanted it to be. And so like I think the thing that I do now is I just let go and I just trust and live in the moment. Where like I have to find times where I'm not thinking about business. I'm not thinking about anything. And I think my son has done that for me more than anything, where like I'm present with him and like I can put my phone down and not worry about anything and just
So
realize.
I should have a son, is what
That's
you're
why.
saying.
That's why I
should have a
like.
kid.
Nah. I mean, there's other ways to do it. Like vacationing actually did it for me first. The first thing that really opened up my mind was going on a trip and having it not be about business.
Like literally, because even when we would go on trips and stuff,
You're filming,
we were filming,
you're working,
vlogging,
and that's
but
super
literally-
dope. That's super
yeah.
dope. Like,
But it's different though. It's way different than being like, all right, I'm just enjoying.
and I think that it's a balance, because what we love to do in general, like I love to make music. So if I can make music on a beach in Kauai, fucking fire. That's gonna be amazing and I'm gonna love it. But after I make that music, put my fucking phone away. Like I leave my phone in the hotel when I'm out of country. Like when I go to a resort with my wife, or when I go do something, like I'll work on my shit and then I put my phone away. And like even when I go to dinner, even here, if I go to dinner with my wife, I don't bring my phone. I leave it at the house.
That's
That's
awesome.
key.
If I
That
go
is
on
awesome.
if I go on a walk with my son and my wife, I leave my phone at the house. If I'm doing anything with my family, none of us are allowed to have our phones. Like, put your phone down. We're playing cards. I don't want to see anybody look at their phone. If a phone comes out, I take that shit away.
That's awesome.
You're not looking at your
That's
phone.
key, man.
Because
That
Especially
is
nowadays,
dope. That
man.
is dope.
you got to enjoy the moment. So like now that I've accomplished so many things, it's like all that I want is love and happiness.
Yeah.
You know,
I
so
think that's the same like what
Like
you're kind
not
of dealing
chasing the next high all the time, but just like enjoying right now for what it is.
and it's no, you're always gonna chase the next high. Let's not get it twisted. We're creatives. We're always gonna chase the next high. Whether it's Indie Amplify, my business, whether it's my music, managing other artists. I'm a creative person. That's what makes me tick. But at the end of the day, you also have to fill your cup up with just little shit that you enjoy, like playing basketball in the morning, or like I said, going on those walks, or being present in a moment. So just take the time where like, I think now, like I said, being able to say no to shit is big, and being able to put your phone down and put your business down for a while and just enjoy the moment. So even when you go on trips, if you go on a vacation, but you're like, we gotta film, of course you gotta film. You can't go to a dope place and not film. It's what you do.
Yeah.
It's gonna make you happy.
That's why how we got to that place.
But after you film, put your shit down. When you go to dinner, put your shit down. When you go to the waterfall that's in Kauai, like, film it, put your shit away, and just live. You know, so
Yeah.
that would be my advice on like the next level or the next stage of life is enjoyment and happiness. And part of it is going to be your creative shit you do and the accomplishments, the accolades you rack up. But what's going to make you happier than that is being present in a moment that like the internet doesn't have to see.
yeah.
Yeah, dude. Yeah, I just unfollowed everyone on Instagram. So
it was fucking
I don't,
with you.
because I don't need to see. But like, dude,
That's dope.
everything that's going on.
I did that same thing.
It's like everything that's going on. You only feel like you're missing out if you know what's going on.
Right.
Like someone's having the craziest moment of their life. Someone's having like
right now.
Someone's
And you
getting
start
married
comparing
right now.
everything.
Someone's having a baby right now. Like that's so dope for them. Live your
Exactly.
life.
Exactly. Yeah. Comparison will kill you.
Yeah.
It's just like I did the same shit when I lived in LA. I was following all these people because I needed to know what they were doing so I could link with them, so I could be a part of it, so I could build. And then same thing. I think I followed less than 100 people all the way up until like this last month where I followed a bunch of people back. But I only followed 100 people for the last like 4 or 5 years, and it was people that I actually wanted to see and I care about and I love, and that was it. So yeah.
I definitely think it's still like in the beginning though. I feel like we're past that beginning stage of grinding, put your head down, don't look up, just keep on going, keep on working.
Right.
But when you're in the beginning, I feel like you almost have to.
You do.
Yeah.
You
have to.
Like you can't balance in the beginning.
yeah.
Or
No,
else
there's no balance. There's no balance.
That's how we all got here. It's
There's
like
no nothing.
if you
There's no
balance,
nothing.
you're never gonna have to be able to get to balance.
But no, the people that you love got to understand that this is what I'm doing and this is my thing and that's what I'm doing. And it's just like anything else, right? Like if you have a sibling that goes to college to be a fucking doctor or a lawyer or anything else, like when they're studying, you don't bother them, right? So when we're doing what we do, don't fucking bother me. I'm working. You know what I'm saying?
People
So
don't,
like,
but people didn't respect it like
they don't. They never do.
Like,
They
it
never
never
do.
made
sense
sense
to
as
me,
not
though.
like a job.
They never do.
Something else.
I tell anybody who wants to start a creative career, whether it's a YouTuber, a rapper, a fashion designer, I'm like, if you went to school, you'd have 4 years of nonstop grinding. If you want to be, and that's to get a regular ass degree.
And treat it like that, because if you
Treat
really
it
want to
like
do
that.
it, if you're like, say you're like, oh, I got to study for this test. All your friends are going out. They're gonna be like, oh, go study for your test. You have to.
Yeah.
But if you're like, yo, I'm gonna go film this video or I'm gonna go record. No, just come out, bro, because it's not the
Right.
same. They don't.
They don't respect it the same.
But you got to respect yourself enough to be able to
say no.
To say no.
Yeah.
And say no, man. That's such a key.
Learning how to say no was one of the best skills that I ever developed. Because you got to say no to a lot of shit.
But you're right. In the beginning, I feel like you have to
I don't want people watching to get the wrong idea where they're just because you can always be doing more, you can always be going harder. And in the beginning, I feel like you have to go hard. But once you get to that point where now you've built the life and you built
need
like
to
the business.
So the things you need to understand when you start doing this is, as a creative, as a musician, as whatever, you have to know what your end goal is. What is your end goal? What do you really want to be? Where do you want this to take you? And there's going to be opportunities that come up that seem like they're going to get you to that place. There's going to be opportunities that you jump into that don't take you there. But at the end of the day, you got to know where you want to be, and that's going to help your ability to say no and say yes to certain things. Like, and think about that every time something pops up. Like, oh, this thing is happening, but does that really align with my brand and where I want to go and what I want to be and what I want to do? If the answer is no, then you might be able to miss that thing. Also, when I moved to LA, for people that are just starting out, I said yes to everything.
Yeah, in the beginning,
I went to everything because even if I'm not a huge party person. Like, I get wasted. I have a good time. Like, I wild out. But like, as far as going to all these random mingling events and shit, like, that's not my bag for real. But when I would go, it was like, somebody told me the first week I moved to LA was say yes to everything and go to everything. And it did help because I could go to a party, and if it was dope, I could build with people, and you never know who you might meet at that party.
Never know.
Yep.
You can
know.
meet one person and it'll change the rest of your life.
Change everything for you. You could also go to that party and be like, this is trash, I'm going home. But at least you went and you saw what was going on, and you have no regrets, and you stepped in that room and you represented yourself, and it's like, cool, none of this is getting me closer to my end goal. I'm going home.
Mm-hmm. So it's like in the beginning, 100% all in, yes to everything.
Be a
and
yes
knowing
man in the
when,
beginning, for sure.
knowing when to cut it and knowing how you feel.
Yeah.
Because I was
Trust
I'm not
yourself.
even kidding. I didn't even feel like the way I'm feeling until maybe a month ago.
Well, because it's like the same thing with what you were saying like just a second ago. It's you're getting like a downgraded version of that high. So like the first time we went on tour, it was like 2018. It was me, him, and then our other friend. And then that was it was the craziest time of our lives. I'm 15, driving around the country, seeing everything for the first time.
He was 15.
That's crazy.
And I think I was like 17.
I wasn't 5 though. I wasn't 5.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
hard.
That's crazy. You were 5.
But then it's like seeing everything. It was so crazy, so dope. Then in 2019 we went again, and it was dope. It was super dope.
Not as dope as the first time?
It was pretty dope because we were doing
We actually did shows, like, big
It was
shows.
bigger. It's bigger and better. You learned from the
bigger
first
and
one, made
better.
the second one better.
And now this is kind of like, this is a little different because we're not doing like shows. We're doing more like this podcast thing.
Right.
But it is the third time around, and I can just feel it. Well, for them, it's the first time. For him right there and behind the camera, it's the first time. But I feel like me and Ricky, I feel like you feel this. I mean, I'm speaking for you. I don't
Dude,
know.
I've seen everything. It's weird,
It's
bro.
like-
Right.
And you were talking about it on another podcast I was listening to. But we've been places. We've been like everywhere, and it's like we circle back, and then we're at that same place. And the first time around, it's like this is the craziest place ever. And the second time around, it's like
It's whatever.
yeah, it's
It
like
is what it is.
It is what it
it
is.
is what it is.
But so how do you just gotta? How do you just appreciate it for the moment that it is instead
I think you
of
just
comparing?
live. You just live in the moment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think that's all that you can really do is just live in the moment. Like you meet new people, you have new experiences, you do new shit, and that moment is gonna change for you. Like I said, I did 3 shows in Colorado last week, and I've probably been to Colorado like 30 times.
Yeah.
So like, it's like when I go there and I'm with somebody, like my wife came this time, and she's like, "Oh, this is so cool, and this is so this," and I'm just like, "Yeah."
That's probably how they feel when I'm like, looking
Yeah,
at sites.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
like, yo, that's lit. And Ricky's like, yeah, that's lit.
Yep. That's
cool. It's cool,
That's
though.
the shit that's here.
But I love
Yeah.
to see.
I'd like
I
to
love
see
to
him
see his
excited.
reaction. Like it
Yes.
gives me happiness when I see other people see it for the first
Yeah,
time.
even something
Yeah.
as simple as like, yo, I went to this place and I remember this really good sandwich. I want to take you there.
Yeah,
so you can
yeah,
get this
yeah,
sandwich.
yeah.
Like shit like that is really dope to me. And once you've seen the world and you've done so much cool stuff, it's like keep exploring, keep going to new places. You haven't seen the whole world yet.
No,
That's
yeah,
what I was
100%.
driving-
There's many more
yeah.
places to go. And like I
I
said,
wasn't even talking about that more. I'm just talking about me as in my maturity of life. I can feel myself knowing that I want balance. Like I want to be able to go back, be with my girlfriend.
No, that's what I'm saying.
and then
though.
go
dope.
out and film, do my thing, and then go back and be with her instead
Right.
of like
and if somebody hits you up that night, like the more important, like now, like I said, the difference is if I was single. I was a hoe. I was a hoe. I was for sure a hoe. I was a dog. I was a dog.
dirty dog.
For sure. I was a dirty
for how like a
dog.
long time, like a dirty dog.
On and off. I was
You
all,
go in those phases.
But you thought you were like a dirty dog, and then you'd be like not like at all. You'd be like, right?
I just, yeah, like, I
It's
mean,
weird,
I
bro.
came,
I know how he feels,
well,
man.
I came from a broken home. So like my biggest fear in life was always like divorce and like, you know, separating my family and whatever. So like I really, really wanted to have a dope, good family, but I was always really scared of it at the same time. So like when I was, you know, pursuing my dream, it was like, it was one or the other. Like, oh, this girl's really dope. Maybe she's the one. So I would get real serious. And then like a weekend, I'm like, nah, she's not the one.
but you knew
And
though,
then-
right?
And then I'm like, cool, I'm having sex every night for the next month. You know, or I'd go on tour and it's the same thing. Like every city, like if I didn't have a girlfriend, it's like, cool, what's up? Like it was convenient and it was like a fun thing to do. It's like, oh, I'm in this city. Let's see what can happen. You know,
Because
this
new city, like
yeah.
it's so different with all of us because we have
them
girlfriends.
two,
and he's
them two
single.
are in relationships. I'm single.
Oh yeah, when I was single, it was like
He's a sender.
literally. It's kind of crazy, and I mean, shout
ahead, man.
out to my wife. She's a real one. I love my wife. She's the
Shout out,
best
shout
human
out.
being on these properties right now. But when I was young, it was just like that was part of touring. Like the fun part of touring for me was like, yeah, you do the show, like you meet girls and you mess around, and like that's what you do at that night. Like I used to actually send. Well, actually, Mike Stud taught me this. I don't know if you guys know.
No,
who-
Mike
No,
Stud.
dude,
Mike-
I've been listening to him like,
The whole
that's
time
all
he's
I've
been
been
here.
playing
Mike,
on repeat.
Mike does Mike's camera guy, Kilmer, who's like creep of the week, but also cool at the same time. But he'd go out and he'd take pictures of the girls in the crowd, like, oh, let me get a picture of you. Da-da-da.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, it's cool. He's got a picture of you, but he's also just going in the green room and showing Mike the girls and
Which
being
one
like,
do you want?
which ones do you want to
he-
come back? And so like we kind of adopted that, where it's like, okay,
So
this
he
is
would
the
walk
show.
back out and be like, "Hey."
The
Mike
camera
wants-
guy would take pictures throughout the night of like girls that were at the show, come to the green room and be like, these are the girls that are there. I have their Instagrams. What's up? And then we would have after parties, usually get booked for an after party or throw a house party. And then all those girls come and like, of course they want to hang out with you because you were the star that they came to see
Yeah.
that night.
Yeah.
And
That's lit.
whatever, you'd be a slut, you know? So it's very easy.
So you were in that stage for,
years.
but then how?
Yeah.
And then
so
what do you get out of it after
Yeah.
a while? You're like,
Well, you realize that all that you're getting into, literally all you're getting into is an empty hole. There's nothing in there.
Yeah.
There's nothing in there. There's no substance. There's no anything. So you're just in an empty hole every single day, and it's like you want something more. Yeah. Get his face, the empty hole. You know what I'm saying?
No. But yeah, no.
So you want something more. So at the end of the day, it was like, okay, wow, this is very cool and this is very dope. Like, I think when I started going on vacations and I was like, I want to share this with somebody. It was like, who do I really want to share these moments with, and what foundation do I want to build with somebody? Yeah. So while my head was down, it was like I didn't have time to build anything with anybody. So like a one night stand was the best shit ever, because it's like Wayne says, as soon as I come to my senses. That's how it was. That's how it was. And then after that, it was just like, cool, I really want to build something. And my wife actually was there the whole time, like just waiting for me.
Dang.
Yeah. Wow.
Like every show, she was ready for you to.
No, not every show. Not every show, but like, I've known the first time she was in one of my music videos was
really? I thought you were being figuratively, like she was just out in the world doing
2012, she's in one of my videos called I Got Sauce, and I thought she was really dope that day, and we, started talking, whatever, and my wife is very, like, in her faith, very much believes in the Lord. And so we, she has very high standards for me and herself and all that. So it never was like, she could never be a one night stand because she wouldn't allow it, which is what intrigued me, because she was different than every girl that just was throwing themselves at me.
Yeah.
So over the years, as she kept popping up and being like, hey, I think we're supposed to be together. After a while, I was like, you know what? She's probably fucking right. And then it turned out to where we're married and we have a kid, and we work super well together.
How does that?
What's that like having a kid?
Having a kid is super ill, because all the things that you guys are talking about, and all like, chasing the dreams and all this, you want to chase the dream even more because you want to like provide for him and you want to show him these things, but also like you can't be on your phone when he's smiling at you. You know what I'm saying? Like you can't, or
you feel like you're just disrespecting.
Yeah, it's weird. Or like, and you can't just decide like, oh, I'm gonna go do this thing today. I'm gonna go film this or do this because like, what if he shits himself right before you're trying to go out the door? Or what if he's upset or like he's fussing or whatever? Like you have to deal with that first. And so it teaches you this weird like patience that you've probably never had, because you're not responsible for yourself now. You're also responsible for him and for your wife or your girl or whoever it may be. So like when your girl's getting ready, right? Like you can't just leave your girl. You got to wait till she gets ready.
A couple hours that might be though.
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. So now
it'll teach you patience for sure.
Yeah, so now add a kid on top of that, like, or even when you're packing for a trip, like this dude poops himself 4 or 5 times a day. So you got to bring my guy 5 diapers at least.
Per
and
day.
Sometimes the poop slide out the side, so you got to bring an extra pair of clothes. So you got to have 2 or 3 pairs of clothes for every day. You got to have 5 to 10 diapers a day. You got to have all this stuff. You got to have, babies get rashes. Babies need all this stuff. So like you have to plan your life and be regimented and be balanced to do anything with your son. And like people looked at me crazy, like he's like 3 weeks old and we're on a plane going places. And it's like, yeah, but like I don't want to go to Colorado and do these shows and not be able to like after the show come home and see my son. So like that's the most important thing in the world to me at this point in my life. Yeah, you just make it happen and you just do it, and you learn the patience that goes with that.
Yeah. I feel like that. I feel like my whole life I've always been like, does that make sense? Like I'm like,
for sure. It's what's next. I need to go. It's
rapid
fire
a little bit.
That's when
I like it though. I love it.
When I had a girlfriend, it was like that. It would be like when I hang out with her, it would be like, all right, I'm not thinking about, because like I feel like you're the same way. All of us are the same way. You're always thinking about, oh, what can we film next? What can I do next for my business? And then it like never shuts off. But when I'd hang out with her, it would
shut off.
Force me to.
That's dope.
Because otherwise,
See, mine never shut off. When I had a girlfriend back in the day, it never shut off.
Me too. When I was with the wrong girls, though.
Never shut off.
I was with the wrong girls, and I was like, it was like them. It was like videos, everything. Oh, I have a girlfriend. Oh, I have like, oh,
if
I
it's
forgot.
the wrong person, I feel like, oh, bro, I'm wasting my time.
Yeah,
like
that's how I always felt. I always felt
last
like,
night, huh?
Well, and your girl should, if you're creative, your girl should support your dreams and understand. And I think that's what's good about like my wife being there that whole time was like, she got to A, see me grow, but B, understand like what it is. So advice I give people that like younger artists that start coming up, I'm like, you have a girlfriend, cool, bring her to everything so she sees what it is, and she'll probably never even want to go again. Like, there's no reason for your girl to be at sound check. But if you tell your girl, like, yeah, I'm doing sound check, they don't know what that looks like. Or, yeah, I'm doing a radio interview, and, like, a radio host is another girl, like, they might think you're up to some shit. Whatever it is, like, I always found that showing my girl what the situation was one time so she would understand it. So now when I call her and I say, yeah, I'm at the after party that I really don't want to be at, she understands what I'm talking about.
Instead, before she would be,
Yeah, when
her
she's like-
mind would wander
makes a
like,
lot of
oh,
sense.
Yeah, or
after
like-
party, oh.
Yeah, or like, oh yeah, I'm at the meet and greet. Well, yeah, the meet and greet that she sees online where I'm signing titties and
Yeah.
whatever, like, you know, doing that.
Yeah.
But now when she's there, like, she takes the pictures of me signing the titties. It's like, I wouldn't,
dope. That's
I would
dope.
never have
That's
sex with this
dope.
girl
That's
over
jokes,
here. You
that's
know what I'm saying?
jokes.
Like,
Yeah.
I'm not doing this, you know? So like, now she, like the Colorado shows, her and my son came and they just, like I said, she watched me sign 12, 15 butt cheeks. She took pictures, and girls actually came up to her and was like, I love your guys' relationship. Actually, after getting her, a girl got her titty signed and went right up to my wife and was like, I love
the
you.
other one.
I love you. No, she was like, well, I mean, basically, but like, I love your guys' relationship. It's so dope. You give hope to like us and like finding love. Like,
Yeah.
that's hard.
That's awesome.
That
That's
is,
dope, man.
that's
hard.
the most coolest thing ever, bro.
yeah, super hard.
Yeah.
It's just like you're showing her like the trust. It's just like, I don't know. That's just crazy to me. Like,
It's like fulfill
It's
you.
awesome.
Like you feel that hole, that empty hole. Well, it was an empty hole.
Yeah.
But now it's like a filled hole.
Yeah, it's a filled hole. Literally, I watched my son pop right out of that thing. It's crazy. You know what I'm saying?
you want to have another one?
Yeah, she wants to have one right away. So
No
Wait,
way.
did you want to have a boy or did you guys want to have
for sure wanted
Yeah.
to have a boy.
Oh, you
Is
want
it a
to
boy?
like-
Is it a boy?
Yeah, you got to have a boy first.
and then you don't mind having a girl?
If I had a girl, like I only want two. I thought I might want 3 or 4, but I only want 2.
What if it happens to be twins?
Ooh.
That would be crazy. Then
It is what it is.
I like it. It is what it is. Yeah, if I have twins, I have twins. But yeah, if I have a girl, cool, it's a girl. I got a girl name picked out, a boy name picked out. So
Oh, he's
either
already
way-
ready.
Either way, I'm good. Yeah.
I have a question. It was it's from you're talking about it on a different podcast. I think the Buff Nerds one. And then you're saying how you were like on tour for like 200 days.
Yeah.
Like out of the year. What is that like?
Man.
Like you get exhausted from it? Because I mean, we were exhausted. We're only what? Because our other tours, they were only like a month long. This
Right.
one,
2, yeah.
this one, we're like about 2 months in. It's
Right.
It's like oh.
But this is different than like you're not doing shows every night, right?
No,
yeah,
not
we're
at
not
all.
doing shows, but it's like just like packing up and moving and being like always on the go, kind of.
Yeah. No, the grind is wild, but it's like I think because if you guys are anything like me, you do a lot of stuff even when you're home, right?
Like what do you mean?
Like
Like working? on
yeah,
stuff?
you work
Yeah,
a lot
yeah,
when you're
yeah,
at
yeah.
home. So like for me, like tour was I don't want to say it was a vacation, but like it was like, I only got to worry about performing. Like I don't have to make new music. I just do a show and I party and
feel
whatever.
that, I
So
feel
like
that.
it was definitely tough. And what people don't realize, like what people think they're getting into, like, oh, I'm gonna have the best time of my life. Nah, like when you're actually really popping as an artist, it's like cool. You wake up, you do a radio interview in the morning between 8 or 9 a.m. Then you have a couple hours to shit, shower, shave. You do your sound check at 2. You do your meet and greet after that. Then you do your concert, and then you do an after party. And then you have to get back on the bus by 2 a.m. so you can be at the next city by 8 a.m. to do your next radio interview. So like,
Yeah, no, I remember we had to drive from like, I think it was Ohio to like
Chicago,
overnight, and then we didn't sleep, and we had to pull up there at like 7
It was
a.m.
like
do
our
the interview.
first radio interview, and I don't
Right.
think we slept maybe like 15 minutes.
oh yeah. No, there was a point in my life where I only slept on planes for the longest. Like, so what happened that was crazy was when I blew up off The Greatest, the nerd rap, I also got hit up by this group called A Great Big World to do this song called Hold Each Other. And it's kind of wild that I'm even on this song. The song is just about, loving somebody deeply. And one of the guys in the group is gay and came out on the song and sings a lyric about loving a man. We dropped the song the day that gay marriage passed.
Dang.
So
On purpose or just happened to be?
yeah, I mean, they happened to make the song, and then we heard that law was about to pass, so they waited and made sure that it dropped that day. Not only that, I did Jimmy Fallon, I did Good Morning America, I did Streamy Awards, I did all these things, and they're all in New York or LA, but I was on tour when this was happening, and I didn't say no to anything at the time. So I literally was doing a show in San Diego, and then I flew to New York.
That's almost as far as you can get.
Far as you can go. So I literally, I remember this run. It was crazy. I did a show in San Diego, flew to New York, filmed the music video, flew back. So that was the same day. Flew back. So I'm only sleeping on the plane, fly back, and then do the next show in LA, and then fly back to New York the next day and do Jimmy Fallon. Fly back and do the show in Santa Cruz, fly back and do Good Morning America the next day.
Oh my goodness.
Then the same day, fly to Michigan and meet with a kid from Make-A-Wish Foundation. Fly back to the Bay, do a show, then fly back there again and do something else. Like, that was life.
That's crazy.
And that's all you knew.
It's exhausting. It's definitely exhausting.
Your mind,
but
when you're there, your mind,
you're in the
you don't
zone.
even feel like, it
just
doesn't feel
regular.
real sometimes where you're just like, things just be happening. You're talking to people and you're like, yep, this is how.
Your body goes into autopilot.
Yeah, autopilot.
Autopilot. And what's crazy is like after every tour, I used to get sick. And it was like my body like knew not to get sick on tour. But as soon as I was done, it was like, hey, fam, stay in the house for a week. Yeah. You're wilding. Like, and like, I don't know about you. Well, here I have a cup in my hand right now. But I would drink. I'm not naturally a super social person, like all the time. So like, this is where it got weird. I would drink for the radio interview, and then I would drink for the meet and greet, and then I would drink for the show, and then I would drink for the after party. So I would get drunk like 3-4 times in a day.
Wow.
And then I'd get off tour and be like,
wow.
and literally like I would stop drinking, and I was actually like shaking.
Like, yeah, I gotta heal.
Yeah, so
Because
there's
you're drunk for all those
I was
days,
drunk.
low key.
I mean, most of my tours are like 55 shows in 60 days type shit. And then you take a week or two off, and then you go on the next run. And I just did that all year. So yeah, it was definitely a lot to do. And then like, yeah, you don't have time for a girlfriend. You don't have time for your friendships at home. You don't have time for your family. It's like, hey, how was today? Yeah, I mean, I played in front of 2,000 people. Like, how was your day? Like, you work at this job. Like, it's weird because you almost have a disinterest in like regular shit. It's like hard to relate with people that are doing mundane things.
Yeah.
Like, oh, you work at this restaurant and you hate your job, and like, you almost feel bad about telling them how dope your life is and like what you're doing.
Yeah.
So it's all really weird. There's so many things to balance, and like, if you're not mentally right when you get into the space and when you blow up, like, I see why people, overdose and go through all these. The depression is real. Like, nobody's meant to be famous. Nobody's meant to be a fish in a fishbowl and just be looked at with every move they make. Like, it's weird. It's different.
It's definitely weird.
Yeah.
Like, no matter what you do, people are gonna say something.
There's
They'll love
jealousy.
you,
There's envy.
hate you.
Everybody has an opinion, and no matter what, it's like you could be doing the greatest thing in your life, and then you get approval from all these people on the internet that you don't know. But like, if your mom or your girl or like your friends are envious or jealous or upset that they haven't seen you in 2 months, like, it doesn't even feel good.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
like,
it doesn't
what am
feel
I?
good.
I think that was probably the hardest thing with doing everything that I've done, was like doing all of it and then coming home and then hearing like, oh, must be nice.
Must be nice.
It's
Oh,
like, bro,
what a
come
saying.
on.
Why
can't
shit
you,
like
be
that.
proud?
Oh, the must be nice saying, yeah.
Yeah, must be nice. I still work at this job and hate my life. And it's like, damn, well, like, I worked really hard
You were
to get here.
you were there before though.
Yeah, and I did that.
And you
know?
made sacrifices
You have the
to get
opportunity to
there.
do the same thing, but
Yep.
you don't
Yeah.
have a goal or a passion like I have. And it is what it is.
It is what it is,
It is what
man.
it is.
It is what it is, yo. I think that's the best way to end it off, dude. That was
For sure.
an
That was
awesome
good.
episode. Shout out to Futuristic. Is there anything you want to like say before we go? Shout out anything?
Yeah, man. If you rock with this podcast, obviously follow me at Only Futuristic. My businesses at Indie Amplify. Support the homies management. Maps. I actually got to put you on Maps. I have it's basically like a better version of a Smart Link that is for
Okay.
all creators that I created with my partner Adam not too long ago. But yeah, man, follow me, follow Maps. Just follow my Instagram and all the things that are in my description. Love y'all. Make sure you put yourself first. Make sure that you are choosing happiness every single day, that you enjoy your life. Happiness is a choice. I promise you, manifestation is real. You could do anything you set your mind to. Shout out to y'all. Appreciate y'all.
Yo, let's go.
That's what's up.
I like that.
Sheesh.
That was dope.
That was dope.
Dope.
I just felt like it was a good, like, that was perfect.
Yeah, that was. I felt the same thing.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.